Okay, so I'm just getting the system working. I'm recording as well. And I'm waiting 1 more minute to see who else joins. 1 more minute and then we'll start. 1 more minute. It's 4:03. We're going to start at 4:03. We'll start in a minute. Okay, hi guys. Welcome to our session today. My name is Ify Otuya and I'm going to be taking this session with you guys. Okay, someone else has just joined. So there's a few of us. We will get started and hopefully more people will join us as we move along. So I'm going to be taking Learn the Mental Health Skills You Need session today. It's a masterclass, live masterclass session with me, Ify Otuya. Thank you guys for joining. If you could just let me know where you're joining in from in the chat section, just write in the name of your city, whether you're joining from Lagos, from London, from New York, from China, wherever it is, Bangkok, just leave your city in there. I'd love to know where you're joining in from. I thought that we would have more people at this point before starting, but we don't, and we can't spend our time waiting forever for them to join us. So we're going to start immediately after I just have a sip of this cup of water. Okay, so welcome to Learn the Mental Health Skills You Need Masterclass. Before we start, I just need to let you know that this is a safe space, okay? Sometimes in life, we're tired of doing more. We're tired of doing more skills. We're tired of learning more skills. We're tired of learning more to help our mental health thrive. And sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about reconnecting with yourself, even if you're worn out, and especially if you're worn out. This is a safe, non-judgmental space to reconnect with yourself and to learn from other people's experiences and stories. So what that means is that if you don't feel like making any contribution today during this session, that's fine. You don't have to. If you do feel like that's great, would love to learn from you. But if you don't feel like learning, sharing your stories or your experiences, that's great. If you just want to soak in other people's experiences, learn from other people's stories, you're more than welcome to do that, okay? So this is a safe, non-judgmental space for you to just be yourself and reconnect with yourself. So this is our table of content on your screen, where you can see everything that we're going to cover today. It has introduction, case study, warm-up activity, etc., etc. Table of contents. There's about 16 items, and we will power through everything in 1 hour, and we will come to the end of that. So just before I go on, proceed to introduce myself, can I just double check that everybody can see my screen on their screen? If one person at least can let me know that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, cool, fantastic. Thank you so much for letting me know, Sam. All right, so I'm just going to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Ify Otuya. I'm a mental health advisor and educator. I'm also an entrepreneur in sustainability and e-waste management. I am the founder of a website called ifyotuya.com, and what ifyotuya.com does is it's an education platform that provides practical guidance for mental health issues. So 1/3 of my website provides guidance for mental health, 1/3 provides guidance for sustainability and e-waste management, and the last 1/3 of my website provides guidance, practical guidance on lifestyle education. So things like intentional choices, making intentional choices on a day-to-day basis, things like that, your lifestyle. So that's what I do. That's what ifyotuya.com is about. It's an educational platform. My qualifications, I did mention that I'm a mental health advisor. So I have qualifications. I have a degree in a BSc in psychology from the London Metropolitan University. I also have degrees in counseling. I have a diploma from TIMFA, the Institute of Marriage and Family Affairs in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a counseling degree from there, marriage and family counseling. I also have other certifications from mental health institutions that help me in community, to help me in managing community mental health and individual mental health groups, corporate mental health, workplace mental health, things like that. So I work with busy professionals mainly. My services include mental health advisory, this masterclass that you're a part of. I also have workshops in mental health that I run. If you're interested in collaborating with me or doing something together with me, working professionally with me, you can let me know after this masterclass. I'm definitely up for that. So those are services that I render. I'm also a speaker rather, for mental health. So I speak at events, public events, private events, things like that. So I have my services on my website as well, like a full list of my services, but these are just some of them. So my website, like I said, is www.ifyotuya.com, and that's showing on your screen as well. Okay, so that's me introducing myself in a nutshell. So today we're going to be looking at 5 areas of study. In 1 hour, we're going to crunch 1 hour into 5 areas of study. Just to let you know, the full slides, if you're interested in the slides of this masterclass, I can get you the slides of this particular slide showing on your screen and the last slide, the key takeaway slides. I can't give you all the slides if you're here on a free ticket, but if you're paying for this session, I can give you the full slides, the entire slide. So if you're interested in the crunch down slides, if you're interested in slides, 2 slides, let me know. You can send me an email after this or send me a message on WhatsApp or whatever, wherever you know me from, and let me know that you're interested in the slides, and I will get the slides across to you. But if you are on a free ticket, you can only get 2 slides, not the full slides, okay? So 5 areas of study for today, which is one of the slides I'll be giving to you, is 1, what are mental health skills? We'll be looking at what are mental health skills. We'll also be looking at the importance of mental health skills, like why are mental health skills important? We're hearing from research that mental health skills is actually life-changing, life-saving, that it can save lives. Like, why are they so important? We need to learn the importance of mental health skills. Then we need to learn why developing mental health skills is crucial. Like, it's one thing for me to learn that mental health skills are important, but why should I bother myself developing them on a day-to-day basis? Then the benefits of mental health skills, we're going to look at that. And finally, real-life application of mental health skills for success. We're going to look at that as well. So these are the 5 slides for today. Now, before we proceed, let me let you know that the mental health field is such a vast field. Like, there's so many different kinds of mental illnesses that exist in the mental health field. There are also so many different kinds of treatment options that people use. Now, therapy for one, which is one main treatment option that a lot of people use. Therapy is great, but there are also so many different kinds of therapy. Like, it's hard to keep up with the therapy options that exist in the world today. Now, I don't offer therapy. I'm not a therapist. I'm a non-clinical advisor of mental health. I don't offer therapy, but what I do offer are skills. I teach mental health skills. Okay, so I'm a non-clinical advisor of mental health. So I teach mental health skills to people, busy professionals mainly, so that they can learn mental health skills. They can use mental health skills, can be used to prevent mental illness from developing, and you can also use mental health skills to address daily mental health challenges. Okay, so we just had someone join us. Hi, Susanna. Welcome to the session, the masterclass session. It's so good to see you here.
Thank you.
Awesome. So if you could just mute your mic for us, that would be great. So these are the 5 areas of study that we're going to be looking at today, okay? Now, before we start, let me let you know that, or before we continue any further, let me let you know that there will be Q&A sections in between where you can ask questions about anything at all, and most importantly, ask questions about what I have covered in this session. Now, before we proceed to the 5 areas of study, I'm going to quickly, in 5-7 minutes, share my story with you. Some of you who know me already know my story, but for those who don't, I'm going to share my story with you. It's a story of my journey through paranoid schizophrenia and triumph. My story began in about 2009. I relocated from the UK to Nigeria to launch my music career, my budding music career. I was a singer, Afropop singer. And so I was everywhere in Nigeria. I was doing the rounds, I was granting interviews, I was on TV, I was on radio, I was doing so much. I was creating so much buzz about the music. But as time went on, a lot of people wanted me to perform for free. They would say things like, come and perform and promote yourself. And so money wasn't coming in as much as money was going out into the music. And that was the beginning of my depression, the beginning of my disillusionment with the whole thing. So I began to withdraw a lot from all of it. I began to fall sick physically. I used to fall sick, have malaria. I started becoming quite depressed. And over time, I began to withdraw from my family as well. I didn't want to interact with family members and as such and such. And so as time would have it, over the period of a few years, I was then diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. When I got the diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, it was like the most shocking thing I'd ever heard. Like me, I'm a driven, go-getting person. I'm a self-starter. I drive myself. I make things happen. And I was just like, why me of all people would have paranoid schizophrenia? It just seemed like the most unacceptable and most unimaginable thing to be told. And so as a result of that, I refused to accept my diagnosis from the doctors that I had paranoid schizophrenia. And so because I refused to accept my diagnosis, for over the course of the next 7 years, I struggled a lot. I relapsed. I was going in and out of hospital. They used to forcibly take me to the hospital, bundle me, take me to the hospital. After spending time in the hospital, I would come out and then I would leave. I'll kind of be okay for a while, and then I would relapse again and go back to the hospital. So it was a cycle of relapse after relapse after relapse. I was just stuck in this rut of paranoid schizophrenia. One day I looked at myself and I said, damn, how did we get here? How is this happening? Like, I just didn't want a situation where I would write a story of my life and the story would be about paranoid schizophrenia from beginning to end, or at least even 70% of it just talking about paranoid schizophrenia and hospitals. It was such a depressing reality to reckon with. And so I reached my turning point, basically, where I just said to myself, this is going to change. I'm going to speak healing into my life. As a matter of fact, I'm not just going to impact my life, but I'm going to impact the lives of others. To me, being there for others was also part of me being there for myself, being accountable to my own self as well. And so I wanted to speak healing into other people's lives. I wanted to create resources that would help other people through their journeys. So things like articles, ebooks, toolkits on skills, mental health skills, storytelling. I started to write a lot of stories to help people understand technical mental health jargon in conversational manner. And so that was how I turned around and I started doing what you can see me doing here today. And that's my story in a nutshell. That's how I came from struggling under paranoid schizophrenia to eventually triumphing over paranoid schizophrenia and being there not just for myself but for others as well. Okay. So remember, you can ask me questions as we go along when the question section comes up. Great. So that's my story. Before we proceed, let's do a quick mental health anchor. If you could let me know in the chat section, what's one small thing you do that helps you feel mentally steady or calm when life feels chaotic? Okay, so one small thing you do when life feels chaotic that helps you feel mentally steady or calm. It could be walking, it could be listening to music, it could be calling a friend, it could be snacking on something light or drinking something light and healthy. Whatever the case may be, we all have different things that we do that help us, talking to a friend or a family member, etc., etc. You could just leave your answer in the chat section. I would love, love, love to learn from you guys what you do to help you remain mentally steady or calm when life feels chaotic. Okay, so whilst you're doing that, let me quickly proceed with the first area of study today, which is what are mental health skills. Okay, so what are mental health skills? What are mental health skills? What are mental health skills? Mental health skills is such a fantastic discovery. Like, research shows us that mental health skills save lives. A mental health skill a day keeps the psychiatrist away. That is the reality of the situation. A mental health skill a day keeps the psychiatrist away. So we're going to look at mental health skills real quickly. Now, mental health skills are a set of abilities, coping mechanisms, and strategies used to promote and maintain mental well-being. So a set of abilities, coping mechanisms, and strategies used to promote and maintain mental well-being. 10 examples of mental health skills. Now, just to let you know, there are so many examples of mental health skills. There are over 100 mental health skills out there, but I've shrunk and concised all of those into 10 essential ones. And the 10 essential ones are what we cover in this masterclass, because we don't have enough time to look at all the skills that exist. And for learning purposes, it's actually more effective for you to learn 10 and to work with 10 or less than 10 than to work with 50 or close to 100. So the 10 essential mental health skills are stress management, emotional regulation, effective communication, problem solving, resilience, self-awareness, self-care, boundaries, positive thinking, and social support. These are the 10 skills that we cover in this masterclass. Now, I want to quickly introduce you to a product. Okay, it's a free product. I'm not asking you to spend money on anything, but it's a complimentary product, and you can get it on my website, but it's free. Like, if you're learning about mental health skills right now and you're thinking, wow, I'd really like to practice these mental health skills, that's great. There's a toolkit. It's called the Ify Otuya Mental Health Toolkit. It has 80 plus mental health skills in there. They're a supplement to this masterclass. They're a collection of essential mental health skills that are designed to strengthen mental well-being and support everyday wellness. So you can use the toolkit to support everyday wellness and to strengthen mental well-being. You practice this daily, it could actually take you places. It can help you significantly. This masterclass only expands on the skills, and you can download the free toolkit and refer to it daily. You can use the toolkit actually offer deeper understanding, practical demonstrations, and real life applications of these skills. So you can download those. You can use them daily. Have everything that you've learned today. You can revisit what you've learned today using the mental health toolkit. So this is what the flyer for the toolkit looks like. It actually has 80 plus essential skills, but we wrote 70 plus here because from a marketing perspective, 70 plus resonates better. So that's close to 100 skills that you can use. There are practical strategies in there. There's expert guidance so that you can practice it on your own without having to consult with an expert or refer to an expert's help. Okay, so that's the toolkit. If you're interested in that, you can see me later to collect the direct link, or you can just go on the website and search for mental health toolkit and the page will come up and you can download as you want. All right, that's cool. So we've come to our first Q&A session. Yay! So the good thing about this Q&A session is that you can ask me anything about what we've covered. It could be my story, it could be my introduction that I made earlier, it could be my services that I mentioned, it could be mental health skills, it could be, hey, what makes you say mental health skills saves lives? Where did you hear that from? You can ask me whatever and I'll answer your question. I've also got questions for you, but before I ask my question, I'd love to know if you have got questions to ask me. Okay? So the floor is open. Da 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 da. Any question from anyone? Any questions? So while I wait, I'm going to check the chat room to see what you guys wrote earlier. Oh, so Susanna wrote something. So her chill out strategy to mentally unwind is to return to her body, to the presence, and to focus on her breath. So that's mindfulness. She practices mindfulness. She returns to her body, to the presence, and she focuses on her breath, on her breathing. That's really, really good mindfulness technique from Susanna. I do that sometimes, but I don't think I even do it half enough. Like sometimes when you're going through the day is demanding, it's fast paced, there are like demands left, right, center. Sometimes you forget to center and to breathe deeply and to practice mindfulness. So thank you, Susanna, for that. So any question from anyone before I ask my question? Okay, so my question is, would you say that you are thriving or coping with your mental health at the moment? Would you say you're thriving or you're coping? I'd love to know. Sometimes I'm thriving, sometimes I'm coping. But I'm throwing the question out to you guys this time around. I'd love to know, would you say that you're thriving or you're coping with your mental health? Would anyone like to answer for us before we move on?
Maybe I can answer.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead.
I think I have the same as you have. So sometimes I'm thriving and sometimes I'm coping. And I think it has to do with the internal resources that I have available. If I have enough resources, I am better at coping and I'm better with the situation. But if I don't have enough internal resources, I do struggle more.
Okay, so what do you mean by internal resources?
Well, it could be anything that if I do have enough patience, energy, if I'm present in my body, or on the other hand, if I could be even hungry, tired, nervous, have anything else on the other side. So
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you so much. Guys, did you hear that? Internal resources, patience, being hungry, having anxiety, having energy on the inside of you. If you have enough energy, like that can take you places. It can help you do things. It can help you overcome anxiety. It can help you overcome stressors. It can help you overcome depression. But sometimes you're feeling deflated and you're like, oh, like I'm not doing so great right now. It's okay to not be okay sometimes, as long as you don't stay there, and you help yourself to get back up again. Again, the mental health journey is not linear. It's ups and downs, and that's part of the human experience. Like you're not a real human being if you're like just like that all the time, like on a high, on a perpetual okay. It's like, aren't you living on the same planet as us? Aren't you experiencing what other people are experiencing? Aren't you exposed to the same stimuli as us? So it's part of the human experience to be up and down, okay? So cheers to a thriving life. I'm saying cheers to you guys, and I believe that you guys will continue to thrive day in, day out. Okay, cool. So the next area of study is the importance of mental health skills. Mental health skills are so important to the point that without them, relationship, career, and life cannot flourish. That is a fact. Without mental health skills, relationships, career, and life cannot flourish. And we're going to look at the importance of mental health skills today in career, relationships, and life. So first of all, and after this section, there'll be a Q&A in case you want to ask some questions, okay? So let's dive right in. First of all, career success. Now we look at stress management and emotional regulation in career and how important these two skills are for career success. Now, first of all, stress management. Stress management is the ability to handle work-related stress, and it's crucial for maintaining productivity and overall job satisfaction. Okay, now imagine you don't know how to handle stress. Like anything anybody says to you can throw you off. Anything offensive can knock you down. Like you'll be a wreck. You won't be able to handle, you won't be able to be productive at work because the time that you spend being productive, you're spending that time brooding over the way that you're feeling. So it doesn't help for overall job satisfaction. You won't be satisfied in your job, and your superiors will not be satisfied in your own job output as well. So stress management is very, very important for career success. Emotional regulation is also very important. Managing emotions at the workplace fosters a positive work environment and effective collaboration. If you're constantly upset with your colleagues, you won't be able to collaborate with them. So the fact that you're able to check your emotions and you respond intentionally rather than react impulsively will help go a long way with effective collaboration with other people. So when we look at relationships, we find that mental health skills are just as crucial. So, for example, effective communication, which is a mental health skill. Sometimes some people say to me, like, if I never knew effective communication was a mental health skill until I took that session, the masterclass, and it opened my eyes to it. Now, communication is the foundation of healthy relationships, both personal and professional. Like when you're in relationships with people, when you make friends or when you interact with family members, if they speak to you in a way that puts you down, if they speak to you in a way that belittles you, they speak to you in a way that doesn't build your self-esteem, it affects the relationship. It's not going to be a healthy relationship. You won't be able to interact with them in a way that honors your presence in that relationship. So you would be brooding on the inside. You have things you would there will be issues, unresolved issues that need to be addressed, especially if you don't have the confidence to put that out on the table to discuss those things. And so you find that there's no foundation for having a real healthy, honest relationship there because communication is not present. And so this is not just in personal relationship, but it's also in professional relationship. If your colleague belittle you and they talk to you in a way that is disrespectful to you, you would not be able to honor your presence in that relationship with them and have a healthy professional relationship with them that fosters a good relationship basically. And so that's for effective communication. And when we look at boundaries, setting boundaries and respecting boundaries is also crucial for maintaining balanced and fulfilling relationships. Like I said earlier, if you're constantly belittled in a relationship and you're not able to speak up for yourself or set boundaries or table the issues that are underneath, you'll find that you're not able to build an honest and open relationship. You may even resent those people, but when you see them, you smile until one day someone has the opportunity to hurt the other person and they won't think twice before doing that because it's not a healthy relationship. And so, what we want is to practice mental health skills that help us prepare us and equip us to have healthy relationships and to thrive in those relationships. We look at life success apart from career and relationships in life in general. Like mental health skills are also very crucial. Let's start with resilience. Resilience helps individuals navigate life's ups and downs and to bounce back from setbacks. If you're not a resilient person, when life knocks you down, you won't get back up. There's a popular saying, when life knocks you down, get back up. It's part of the human experience. But when life knocks you down, because you don't know how to bounce back, you're not prepared to bounce back, you've not practiced bouncing back, you've not practiced positive thinking and the kind of affirmations and the rewiring of your mindset that helps you to bounce back. You haven't practiced those things. So you find that you're not able to navigate life's ups and downs the way some other people are able to do easily. or apparently easily. So when we look at positive thinking, it's also another skill that helps in life success. A positive mindset can contribute to a more optimistic and fulfilling life. Like I always say, for some people, the glass is always half full, while for some others, the glass is always half empty. They're looking at the same glass, but it's just the mindset and the sort of, optimistic or pessimistic approach or perspective that they're using to address life's issues. That's the difference between a fulfilling life and a non-fulfilling life. Okay, so this is the importance of mental health skills. They're very, very important for career, life, and relationship experiences. Relationship success. Now, would you any of you like to share any experience that you've had, maybe with these skills, practicing these skills? So we looked at positive thinking, we looked at effective communication, emotional regulation, stress management. Would any of you like to share any experiences that you have had? If you don't, that's fine, but if you do, we would love to learn from your experience. So the floor is open once again. Okay. All right, I've got one more question, and I'll answer that question myself and also allow you to answer the question in the chat section if you want. So, in one word, how will you describe your current approach to self care? Self care, the ability for you to care for yourself spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, psychologically. What's your current approach to self care? What is your current, in one word, what's your current approach to self care? I would say, for myself, I would say, average. Okay, my current approach to self-care is average. It could be better, it could be satisfactory, but it's not yet satisfactory. It is average. I admit. No one kill me, please. This is a safe space. You're allowed to be average, you're allowed to be low, you're allowed to be poor, you're allowed to be whatever. We're all here to benefit from the audience of all the other people, and to hopefully walk away feeling more encouraged to do things the right way. So I'll say mine is average, and it's average because I'm constantly distracted, like left, right, center. There's work, there's life, there's relationship, there's family, there's this, there's that. So yeah, it could be better. I would say average for myself. Okay, so that's me. Let's see what else is on there in the chat section. I'm eager to read. Priority for Susanna. That's cool. That's so encouraging. Like, it's a priority for some people, self-care. And it has to be like that all the time. It has to be a priority, because if you're not cared for, you can't function effectively. And once you fail, everything else fails. And once everything else fails, it comes back to you. It's like a vicious cycle. It comes back to you mentally. It's like, oh, I'm not doing this right, I'm not succeeding, I'm not a success. And then there's a tendency to go more downhill from there. So there's Martine's answer. Martine says average as well. Yep, 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 yep. I can reckon with that. That resonates. Okay, so that's cool. That's the Q&A section for that. Let's move on to the next area of study. The next area of study is developing mental health skills. Why is it crucial? This is like my favorite part. Okay, I say this is my favorite part, and I'll tell you why I say this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part because I discovered in my research, when I was trying to help myself and help others and make sure I don't relapse again, I discovered that mental health skills can not only help to prevent mental illness from developing, which is great on its own. It's like, I don't need a pill at the end of the day, right? It can not only help to prevent mental illness from developing, but also it can help with daily challenges, mental health challenges, daily challenges that are part of the human experience. It's not to say you have a disorder, it's just to say you're human. You experience certain emotions. You experience fear, you experience anger, you experience anxiety, you experience sadness, depression. Not that it's a condition, but it's just an experience. And so Mental health skills can actually help us to manage these experiences effectively. And in the case that you do have an illness, it can, or you are developing an illness, it can help to prevent that illness from developing further. So, mental health skills are definitely very crucial. So we've had more people join us. Welcome to the guys who just joined. Welcome to the session. Okay, so we're looking at developing mental health skills. Why is it crucial to develop mental health skills? Okay, so it prevents mental illness and it helps us to address mental health challenges. Now, we're going to look at a number of skills. Okay, just two skills: stress management and emotional regulation. We're going to look at how these skills help us to address challenges and the benefit of practicing these skills. How do these skills prevent illness? So, stress management, for one, these two skills, stress management and emotional regulation. How does stress management prevent mental illness? We're going to look at that quickly. Actively managing stress can prevent chronic stress, reducing the risk of developing anxiety or depressive disorders. Who knew that? Like, I honestly didn't know until I stumbled on this research. I didn't know that actively managing stress can actually help to prevent chronic stress and depressive disorders. So because I manage my stress effectively, it prevents depression from creeping in. That's great. I'd rather do that than spend money going to see a psychiatrist on curative measures. If you can use preventative measures, that's 100% more effective and highly recommended than curative measures. Also, stress management techniques like deep breathing or mindfulness. We talked about mindfulness earlier with Susanna's example. Stress management techniques like deep breathing, mindfulness can be used in the moment to calm the nervous system. We've all had periods where we're heated emotionally and we need something to calm us down. If you can practice mindfulness, deep breathing, being mindful around the things around you, there is the grounding technique, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique, where you mention 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things that you can smell, 2 things you can taste, and so on and so forth. It really helps you to bring you, to center you and bring you into the moment. Okay, so that's stress management technique, and the benefit and the result of that is improved mental well-being, reduced risk of stress related disorders. Amazing. Now, emotional regulation, the same thing. It prevents mental illness from developing or occurring. So developing emotional regulation skills can prevent impulsive reactions and reduce the likelihood of emotional disorders. Wow. So just because I practice emotional regulation, I can actually reduce the likelihood of developing emotional disorders. That's great. Again, who needs to see the psychiatrist if you can actually prevent these illnesses from occurring, right? And it's not just in your life, but it's also in other people, helping other people, being there for other people, for loved ones as well. Now, regulating emotions helps in handling intense feelings, preventing emotional breakdowns or outbursts. That's how it works. If you can regulate your emotions effectively, it can help you to handle intense feelings. So I talked earlier about responding intentionally rather than reacting impulsively. When you can regulate your emotions, those intense feelings can be curtailed. So the benefit of emotional regulation is enhanced emotional resilience, healthier relationships, and reduced likelihood of mood disorders. Mood disorders like depression, bipolar disorder, we don't need that in our lives. So emotional regulation is a mental health skill that actually helps to keep that at bay. So that's fantastic. Does anyone have any question regarding these discoveries about mental health skills?
Can I?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I have realized in regards of the emotional regulation that we basically talk about the negative emotions that we need to learn how to regulate them. But the other day, I realized that even if there is a highly positive emotion, that I really have the feeling of the overwhelm from the happiness. And therefore, I realized that it's not just about taking care of the negative emotions, but also the regulation is also about the positive emotions, if they are too strong or too strong to handle. So for me, that was a new way of looking at the things.
Yeah, I think that there's a parallel with that, what you just said. There's a parallel to bipolar disorder. Like sometimes people think, oh, positive emotions is like by default great. You should always feel positive. But it can actually be a condition where you're like so positive and so hyped that it becomes manic and you have like bipolar disorder. Like you have intense feelings of joys, of happiness, and then you drop and then you have intense feelings of lows. So the important thing is to have a sort of regulated, both negative and positive, sort of regulated state of being, rather than always trying to regulate negative and thinking that positive is by default great. Is that the same thing you're saying? Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That's very insightful, Susanna. Thank you. Thank you. There was a thumbs up earlier. I'm going to follow that thumbs up with my own thumbs up. That was from Chantel, and some other emojis to go ahead along with that. That's great. So thanks, guys. Thank you for your contribution. On a scale of 1 to 10, can I ask how confident do you feel about your mental health skills right now? On a scale of 1 to 10. Would anyone like to say anything on a scale of 1 to 10? How confident do you feel? I'm 8. I'm 8 9. I'm 8 9. Martin is 5. Okay, Chantel is 6. Susanna is 7. That's great. There's a variety of confidence regarding our mental health skills, and it just shows that there's room to accommodate more skills or to accommodate reflection. Sometimes it's not just about doing more, sometimes it's about reflecting on what you've done, and when you reflect, it actually increases your awareness, and your improvement. Like, you reflect on where you're at, what you're doing, and you find that, oh, okay, this is how far I've actually come. And so sometimes it's not about doing more, sometimes you've come further than you actually realize that you have come. Okay, so that's great with the skills. Now, the final area of study for today, how are we doing for time? Woo, we've got about 17 minutes. We're doing good for time. So the final area of today for study for today is applying fundamental mental health skills for success. We're looking at real life application of these skills. Now, I'm going to give you a real life context. Okay, we've spoken about if emotional regulation enough, I feel. Let's look at effective communication. I'm going to give you a real life context for effective communication. Now, I want you to reflect on a time when miscommunication led to a challenge. This can really help us see effective communication as a skill, a mental health skill, not just a workplace skill, but a mental health skill. I want you to reflect on a time when miscommunication led to a challenge. I'd like us to discuss active listening, choosing words carefully, and adapting communication styles for different contexts. I'll go with myself. There was a time, like, now I like to talk and I'm great at talking. Okay, like I can go on and on and on explaining mental health skills, talking. But I wasn't always like this. There was a time when I wasn't a great speaker, and I struggled to express myself verbally, like the right words to use to express what I was trying to say. It was such a big deal. Like, I would be so frustrated on the floor trying to talk to people because I didn't have the right words to use, and I didn't have the patience. Like, I wasn't actively listening to myself while I was speaking. I wasn't choosing words carefully, and I wasn't adapting my communication styles to different contexts. The same way, it was almost like I was on autopilot, I was a robot. The same way I spoke to people in this context, I wanted to go and repeat in a different context. It didn't bother me that I was speaking to my friends in the first instance and I was speaking to colleagues at work in the second instance. And so that was like doomed to fail, because you have to adapt communication styles for different contexts. So I wasn't doing these things. And the minute I began to learn that it was important to listen to yourself carefully as you spoke, um, it was important to choose words carefully as you spoke. It was important to adapt communication styles. My communication began to change and I began to get happier with myself and my speaking with people. I began to feel more confident. I began to feel more satisfied with my communication with people. Does anybody else have any sort of similar experience when it comes to effective communication? Like real life context of the struggle, a real struggle, and how they overcame those struggles. Okay? Alright, so if there's no other examples, we'll just go with my example. So that's me in a nutshell. My me as a case study. I didn't always know how to speak well to people, but the minute I began to really, it's not just about preparing your speech, it's also about listening to yourself in the moment. It goes a long way. Okay, so that's effective communication skills. It helps with our mental health, because if you butcher your communication when you walk away, or your presentation when you walk away feeling really, really down about yourself and what you've just done. So this is our interactive discussion section. I'd like to get your opinion on something real quick. Okay, so we've got a scenario. The scenario is titled, "What would you do?" Okay, now this is the scenario example. Your colleague keeps interrupting you in meetings, so you feel frustrated and dismissed. What's your next move? I'm going to give you the options for your next move, and you can tell me what you would do in this scenario. The next move, there are four options. One, say nothing but withdraw from engaging. Two, confront them in the moment. Three, talk to them privately and share how it feels. Four, complain to someone else about it. Remember, this is the scenario. Your colleague keeps interrupting you in meetings. You feel frustrated and dismissed. What is your next move? What are you going to do next? So, again, the four options: say nothing but withdraw from engaging. That's A. B, confront them in the moment. C, talk to them privately and share how it feels. D, complain to someone else about it. What will you do, guys? Oh, Chantal is C. What's C again? Talk to them privately and share how it feels. Yeah, that's good. Talk to them privately and share how it feels. I understand why you wouldn't want to talk to them there and then in the moment, because if they're not very a rational person, they may react negatively and escalate the situation. So I get that you would want to talk to them privately and share how it feels. So that's good. Someone else said confront them in the moment. That's Martin. Martin is going for the bold option. She wants to stop them right there and then. She wants to stop them in their track and let them know that that's unacceptable. And I'm sure she would get the backing of her other colleagues as well. So Susanna says B, ask politely that I would like to finish my sentence. That's awesome. Ask politely. So she's also going to confront them at the moment and say she would like to finish her sentence. That's a mature approach to things, and is also no nonsense as well. So Barraj says B, confront them in the moment. That's like a popular one in the house today, to confront them in the moment. That's cool. Um, there's lots of benefits to doing that. You just stop them right there and then. You let them know that it's inexcusable, it's mature, it's straight to the point, it's very official as well. So that's good. Just be courteous. Because some people can be like, oh, why would you confront me in the moment? Why would you say that to me? Why would you do that to me? But yeah, as long as you're professional about it, I'm sure you can handle it. Now, general questions. We've come to the end, guys, or near the end. General questions. Does anyone have any question for me at all? Any question about anything? I would love to answer your questions. Anything at all. Okay, so Chantel's hand is raised. Chantel is very courteous. She's raised her hand.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Mine is not really a question, but instead, I just wanted to say well done and thank you so much for having this masterclass. I have learned a lot, I've learned a lot of personal skills. I think that I can also use in my everyday relationships and with colleagues as well. So this was very fruitful, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Chantel. Okay, so Susanna, you're next.
I was wondering if you miss singing and if the singing could be something that can also help you to release the emotions and, regulate your emotions. Could that be one of the strategies as well to be used?
Okay, so that's a good question. Because to be really honest with you, I turned my back on singing. I turned my back on the music industry. I really wanted to refocus my energy and my talents in and repurpose my talents in other ways. And I wanted to be focused about that. So I turned my back on it completely. But lately, with AI, I've been thinking of AI music. Like, it's so fantastic and phenomenal what people are doing with AI music. There's this new artist, Zanaya Monet, who was given $3 million to record AI music, and she entered the Billboard charts. She's the first R&B artist ever in the history of music to enter the Billboard charts as an AI artist, and she's making AI music. So I would say that I've turned my back completely on the industry, but my friends have been saying to me that if I had the opportunity to make something different, such as AI music, for example, would I be interested in coming back? And the answer is yes. I might be interested in coming back and to see how I can explore the intersections of mental health and music as well. That's something that I would be interested in doing. I mean, I've done a lot of research in that department, and there's some people who are working in that field that I follow their work. So it would be fantastic, I think, to see if I can join them and produce work in that field as well. Yeah, I would be interested in that. Okay, cool. Any other question? All right, guys. Ooh, what was that? Ah, someone wants to join. Ooh. Okay. How to handle the exam anxiety or exam stress. This is a question from Balraj. How to handle exam anxiety or exam stress. How does social support influence mental health? Okay, so one of the skills that we talked about earlier was social support. And social support is actually really good because building and maintaining healthy connections with other people can help you create a strong support system. So on the days that you're feeling in like not capable enough, on the days that you're feeling down, on the days that you're feeling your lowest, you can actually turn to those people and you can get support from those people. Practices include vulnerability, reaching out when you need help, building and nurturing connections, accepting support without guilt. So, people may want to support you. It's not just important for you to be able to reach out for social support, but it's also important for you to be able to be accepting of help when people try to help you as well. So that's how social support can influence your mental health. It can help you a long way. How to handle exam anxiety. You can practice stress management, stress management techniques, mindfulness. Sometimes you get into the exam hall and you look at the paper and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? What am I doing here? You can just take deep breaths. You can calm down. You can practice mindfulness. It can help you. I also have some other techniques that you can use for exam anxiety. I can forward those to you as well. If you're interested, just send me an email and we can talk about that. I'll do that for free. Okay? So I hope that answers your question, Balraj. And then Martine's question, how do you make up your mind to stop missing someone? Ah! Martine, how do you make up your mind to stop missing someone? I don't know. Will anyone like to answer that question? Anyone in the house? How do you make up your mind to stop missing someone?
Well, maybe I can share. I do miss my daughter because she studies in a different country and I don't see her. And what helps me, Martin, is that I actually close my eyes and I actually imagine that I'm hugging her and I actually feel the energy of the present moment of our last hug. And in that case, I can recharge myself and have the feeling of the connection, even if it's not physical, but is energetical. And that helps me. And sometimes she even tells me that she feels it. Mommy, you were thinking about me this morning.
Wow, that's so sweet. That's telepathic. That's so sweet. I hope that answers your question, Martin. That's really good. That's a really
Yeah,
good one.
thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
so we've got 4 minutes, and in this 4 minutes, I'm going to take you through 3 slides real quickly. There's a personal challenge. I don't want you to just come to this masterclass and go home and forget about everything. There's the toolkit, the mental health toolkit you can download and use, but there's also this personal challenge called Skill It, Don't Skip It. So I'd like you to pick one skill that you learned from today, focus on that one skill, and journal how it affects your daily life. Okay, so you can go away with that, then ask yourself, did it help? What changed? So just one skill from today that you can focus on, stress management, emotional regulation, whatever. Just focus on that one skill and journal, how does this help my life? How does this help? It can actually help you with self-awareness in a great deal, and self-awareness is the foundation of all mental health skills. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Now, key takeaways from today, we've come to the end of today. Just to do a quick roundup, key takeaways from today: with that, we found out that without mental health skills we cannot flourish. We also found out that actively developing mental health skills is crucial. Then we found out that mental health skills helps to identify signs and symptoms early. Preventative, guys, preventative approach, not curative. Preventative over curative. So there is also a myriad of benefits to cultivating key mental health skills. We discovered that today. And finally, the last thing we learned today was that applying mental health skills in real life fosters success and fulfillment. So again, if you want this slide, let me know, send me an email and I'll get the slide across to you. And we have come to the very last slide for the day. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. The very last slide for the day. Does anyone have anything to say? Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you. Baraj, thank you. Let me see. I've got some emojis myself. Thank you. Oluwatomiwa, thank you for joining. Although you came late, but thank you nonetheless. So if you want some slides, let me know. Send me an email and I'll get those across to you guys, okay? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Susanna. Thank you, Chantel. This was very informative. You said thank you. My pleasure. Baraj, thank you so much. Susanna sending a big hug. Thank you. Hugs and kisses to all of you guys. We've come to the end. Thank you.
Yes.